Hello YouTube friends, Ben here, and today I have a quick update on some of the fish that have graduated from the 60 gallon and moved over to the 135. Some of those fish that not that long ago were the size of maybe a thumbnail have been brought over to the 135, and they seem to be doing well. One of them is probably going to go back only because of a conflict that I was anticipating, and it did come to pass. It might calm down, but I don't want the fish to be under the stress that being chased or harassed is giving him. So I'll probably remove one fish or take him back to the 60, maybe even maybe have him live there. So at any rate, let's get into it. Let's do a quick update on the 135. I have the blue light on behind me. I like that blue light. It's a little bit easier on the lens of the camera when I'm filming myself in front of the tank. But I'll go ahead and turn the lights on, and let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in there and some of the fish that have moved out of the 60-gallon tank. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's just do a little scan of the tank here, and we'll do a little bit of a roll call. What you'll see right off the bat are the two VC10s that I brought over, and they seem to be doing well. You can look at the fins, and you can tell they're sort of no worse for the wear, and seem to have been accepted. The way I added them is I do a feeding in the tank. Turn all the lights off, and then more or less just plop them over. And the water conditions are almost identical between my tanks, and so I don't really worry about too much adapting, except when I'm moving maybe from the outside tank to the inside. Boy, the Eureka's looking pretty good today. That Eureka, believe it or not, was won by me. Imperial Tropicals was doing one of its weekly contests, and they drew my name, and so they sent me this little Eureka. He's doing well in the tank. He holds his own, gets into it sometimes with the otter point. They can be a little territorial. This little fellow here is supposed to be a yellow benga, and he really colored down. I think he's just sort of in a state of intimidation. I'm probably going to put him in the 60. I think he'll be a little bit more comfortable in there, at least until he puts on some size. But actually, I'll probably leave him in there, so that's going to be a peacock tank eventually anyway. There's the otter point. He's a bit of a tough guy. But you can see I've got a couple VC10s in here now. There's still one back in the 60 that I'll probably be moving over pretty soon. And you probably already noticed that the living stony is here. There he is. I suspected he was going to be coming over pretty quick because he's just a tough guy, a bit of a brute, and I had no doubt about him being able to hold his own. So he's done well. You can see his finnage is intact. Nobody is really messing with him too much. So he's doing well. I also brought over, and let's see if I can find him because he's hiding. He's the one fish I'm kind of worried about, and that is the Intermedius. I brought over the Intermedius, who is a pretty good size in the 60. There he is. He's back there. He's getting harassed quite a bit, as I was hoping wouldn't happen, but as I imagine could happen, by the much larger Intermedius, who actually is the tank boss here. So this fellow at first didn't like the idea of having that smaller Intermedius in the tank. He didn't like the up-and-coming competition, so he was making life pretty difficult for him. I'm going to watch him very closely today. Sometimes once they establish the pecking order, excuse me, once they've really established the pecking order and it's very clear that he is the boss and that nobody's going to mess with him, then usually at that point they tend to back off and let things be. So we'll see how this guy does. You can see his dorsal is a little bit Got a few nips there on the dorsal. The rest of them doesn't seem too bad. So if he doesn't get too harassed tonight, I might leave him in. Otherwise, I will put him back into 60 because, you know, being harassed by another fish, it's a lot more than just the fin damage. You know, they also, under that kind of stress, they do get more predisposed to illness, disease. Their sort of immune system starts to check out, and so anything that might be going on, such as parasites or anything like that, can really take hold when they're really under stress. I mean, at least that's the way I understand it. So stress can actually create a lot of different factors. Electric blue is looking great. This is, of course, the first fish that came over from the 60. My sand diver. And he's looking good. And so that's the update on the fish that have been transferred over. And they seem to be adapting well. As usual, they probably think I'm going to be feeding them something. I don't feed them in the evening. I feed them in the morning. And I don't feed them at night. And actually, on the weekend, sometimes we'll even skip a feeding just to kind of let them clean out a little bit. This fellow here doesn't get a lot of love, but I really like this fish. He's a very beautiful fish. Little Z-Rock. All right. So that's it for now, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's the update. And I was going to skip a weekend on making videos, but I found myself with a few extra minutes, so I decided to go ahead and put out an update since I had moved some fish around. I appreciate your support of the channel. I appreciate you folks taking me up to you know, over 4,500 subs. The Facebook page, ben.o.cichlid, is doing very well too. We have, I believe, around 3,500 members, and we were just able to strike a deal with Super Cichlids. Lisa over at Super Cichlids is offering the ben.o.cichlid group a nice discount. All you have to do is like her page on Facebook and use Ben12, the code Ben12 when you check out, and you will get a 12% discount on your order of food from Super Cichlids. Okay, so check them out. Check them out on the net, and also check them out on Facebook. Good group, family-owned business, and of course, I've used them personally, and I have found their service to be very, very good. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's the update. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.